So, hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas to all, and to all, well, not a good night yet. Just stay up and watch the video a little longer. And then after you watch this, you can have a good night. But, I am so thankful. I had a great Christmas. And, that I appreciate. And, you know, I think I've said in the past, when I have these great experiences, I owe it to karma. Karma that I believe is associated with fighting back. Therefore, I was given such great, you know, experience of today, and the joy and happiness and the sharing and way too many pies. Yeah, I owe the world. I owe the world for gifting me this good karma. So, I know I'm going to fight this year. And I even received a present, a gift. I call it a gift. And I'm very, I want to be careful. As usual, I want to be careful because of YouTube and their censorship. Because if you actually tell too much truth, you know what happens on YouTube? They shut you down. So, I'm going to be careful on how I approach this subject. But I was given a little bit of a gift of information to see, possibly to see in the future of this coming year where some of these fake mass shootings may take place. Okay, I didn't, YouTube again, I didn't name a place, I didn't name a date, I didn't call any particular thing of the past. I said future. I didn't call anything of the past anything. So, now that that's covered, this information may take a little while to sift through and actually catch up to where we're a little bit ahead of it. But I also want to make sure that when it's approached, that it's approached correctly. So one thing is, I wish you would go over and subscribe to my BitChute channel. Even though we see where BitChute is going and how they're dealing with all the shells, I understand that. But I'm going to be going into more detail about things that are upcoming for this year, and some new knowledge that will help other people investigate these things. And I think that's important. Of course, we can't share that on YouTube because, you know, well, you know. So, even if BitChute gets really, you know, that bad, we still, I think, have a good enough network put together of people that have been researching these things to make sure that the information gets out to many people. And again, if we do get close, and if this information is accurate to where we may be able to predict where some of these things may be happening, we want to make sure that that information doesn't go out right away. Because here's the thing is, yeah, it's important to stop these things, okay? But we also need them committed to a place and to go through with it. So, in other words, we would have to kind of reveal that information just before it, you know, to where they have no choice, where they're committed, and we kind of catch them that way, because they got to be caught red-handed again. They got to, even though they've been caught red-handed a million times, we have to make sure that we somehow have that precognition of the event, and then that event still taking place. But we have to make sure that them understanding that precognition doesn't stop them from actually doing it, because then nobody will believe, and they could just say, oh, it was just a drill. It was just a drill. We always know it's just a drill. But no, we have to make sure that they are committed at some point before they get note of finding out that we already know. If that makes any sense. I'm hoping it does, you know, and it sucks that we live in a world where it sucks that we're living in a world where these things go on in the first place. I think what really charged my batteries to maintain this fight was the other night seeing a commercial from, and I'm not going to say the name because that's another thing you get targeted for, but a commercial by people that are involved in this stuff, that are behind this stuff, and trying to scare children, and it disgusted me. Listen, when it comes down to it, whether you like kids or not, they are our treasure. And especially more now that the birth rate is going down, and that, you know, that they want to destroy population. Our children are so very important, and we see what the schools are doing to them, and they're destroying their minds. They're destroying whole generations of children. And I'm saddened by this. You know, you almost want to say to these feds and these different NGOs and these different bodies of people that are doing these things, yeah, come attack me. Come attack me. Leave the kids alone. The kids deserve to have an education where they don't fear things. They deserve to have an education where there's not trauma-based mind control constantly going on. And, you know, I don't have kids. I got Blizzy. I like to protect her. But we have to think of all these children out there, because they are such an important asset to the world, as something we need to protect. And the outside forces that are involved in all these things, from the Masons on through the different secret societies, down to these different NGOs, down to the education system itself, they are harming our children by trauma-based mind control. When you make kids fear when there should be nothing to fear, that's traumatizing them. That's affecting their young and malleable minds to be convinced there's a boogeyman always out there to get them when there isn't. They deserve to live in a world where they don't have to fear bullshit. Kid, go to school, learn the right things, have fun, make friends, meet girls, maybe even meet the right girl that you grow up and you marry and have more children. That's what the system should be about. But it's not. It's destroyed by so many people that are here to traumatize people, to make them fear. And, you know, they do it so incremental. That's why the youth is so important to them, because they know as we get older and we die off, as long as they keep those youth from listening to people like us, they have control of them. So it's our duty to make sure that we somehow do something to, you know, at the very least slow these people down, if not stop them, because what they're doing is wrong. And I appeal to you, anybody that's a federal agent, how do you live with yourself? How do you sleep at night? going along with this? How can you not see what you're doing is wrong, morally wrong? How? This is a horrible thing that's going on, where kids are being traumatized when they do not need to be traumatized. And if you don't understand this aspect of the traumatization of these children, then there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you if you don't understand this. And even worse is if you can't feel for these children, if you can't understand that giving them a life without fear, without trauma, without insanity is the right life to live, then you're just, oh my God, really? I don't understand. How can you go on with yourself? It's just insane. What is wrong? What these people have done to this country, and if you really look at the whole world, is so horrible. It's mad. And, to me, I find it completely unacceptable. But, yeah, Merry Christmas, Truth Seeker. It's scary. So, let's do something to change it. Hopefully this information pans out. A lot of times we get this stuff, don't always pan out. But out of many things I've looked at, I think there is some opportunity here to see and foretell some of this stuff that's coming. You got to remember, whether all this information coming out where many of these state governmental bodies are being forced to pledge for Israel or not, I guess we still need to do some more investigating on that. Just the rumor of it is scary. We also need to understand that they're pushing more legislation that trickles down to the states to run more of these fear drills. Okay. And that is just, to me, I was never somebody that paid a lot of attention. I had a lot of fun in school and this and that. And maybe I didn't take it so seriously. Luckily, thank God. Maybe I might have ended up like one of them if I did. But thank God I didn't. But it is my strong feeling that kids should not be in a system where it's constant manipulation, constant lies, and constant fear. Because what are they going to grow up to be? People that preach the same kind of stuff that they learned. And that's going to take the world in such a bad direction because they won't understand the difference between what's right and what's wrong. And not being able to understand that difference between right and wrong, I don't know. To me, is one of the scariest freaking things in the world. A child needs to understand that they need to use fear as a defense mechanism only when it is real. And that if those walls, those psychological walls, are not real, they can overcome those boundaries in their own life and help the rest of the world be a better place because they don't have that fear built into them to be greater and to do greater. What's being done is a psychological mind fuck on the children, and it's wrong. So let's hope we can do something to change it. Make sure you subscribe to my BitChute channel because YouTube, it doesn't even matter sometimes on YouTube if you speak truth that they don't want you to hear. Sometimes they will just knock you off. That's the real thing about how YouTube works, is they don't even need an excuse to knock you off. If they don't like your truth, they will just knock you off just to knock you off, despite what all these shills saying. Oh yeah, I'm gonna strike for this, that, and that. Listen, let me tell you something. When they want to come in and knock you out, ask Bill. We've seen it before. They come in and bam, your history. That's how it really works. Not this bullshit silliness. And it does sometimes work the way they say, but I mean, they still end up back on there. And they still get their videos that are allowed to hit the algorithms. You know, people like me, they don't allow my videos to hit the algorithms. They don't. I could see. I've tested it a million times. They don't allow it. So, you know, a lot of these people that talk about censorship, they're full of shit. But they need you to believe that because, of course, look, he's being censored. You know, I'm not saying that's for everybody. I'm not saying this is for everybody. But you got to pay attention out there. You got to pay attention. You know, something else I'd like to say is, you know, I've been trying to push a little bit of that I'm not a Mason movement. Make these people say out loud, I'm not a Mason. You know, and make them say their name. You know, like this. I'm Jerry and I'm not a Mason. Make them say it. Make it, put it in writing and make them say it. Because my feeling on it is, if they refuse to say it, then, well, then there might be a problem, right? Just say it.